Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. Hope you had a great weekend. Monday. It is May 8th. Got the first week of May out of the way, so time to get things rolling. Got the Fed out of the way. Got a bunch of shit out of the way, so it's time to get things rolling here. All right, so we don't have much this week, to be honest. I mean, the only thing I'm really keeping an eye on is CPI Wednesday. So we're really in the clear. Monday, which is today. If you didn't know, today's Monday. We have a bank holiday on the pound, bank holiday on the euro. Nothing today, so I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, it's a pretty clear week. It's crazy. What's going on, Praveen? Welcome back. Welcome back from India. Awesome. Time is in India right now. It's got to be late. Just moving on into the dollar. Of course, we got to look at the dollar, and it ain't doing anything. When is your next training program scheduled? Not sure what you're referring to as a training program scheduled. Go to vantrainingforex.com. You could join us there, but I don't really have a training. Weekly chart is looking pretty bearish here, so if we can start piercing through these lows, then we're going to have a nice pullback. I'm hoping this is the time we start actually breaking to the downside through these lows. I'm really hoping, but considering that we broke through these highs, had a nice wick, closed bearish below all of this area where we couldn't close below before, and so now looking for a continuation downside. However, not going to anticipate that. Just going to wait for it to actually break. For now, we're just still in this range, waiting for a daily chart to close below these lows. Then we'll start looking for that nice push to the downside. Moving on to equities, looking at US30. The weekly chart's really in a range. We have resistance sitting just north of price action. We have a lot of wicks to the downside on this weekly chart as well. So sitting in this weekly range. Daily chart is sitting in this range as well. So still no directional bias on this one. Probably going to see a continuation to the upside just to retest this resistance here. But we are in the middle of this range. Not a huge fan of that. Don't really like trading the middle of ranges, but it is pretty clean. It is pretty clean. If we can break through this area of support / resistance, and we have decent move back up into this 34,100 zone. So we'll see what we get closer into nicey open. If we can get a sweep through these highs and some type of bullish formation, we have range. I mean, very, very clean range back up into 34,000. US 500 is still in this range as well. Weekly chart showing a lot of support to the downside, a lot of exhaustion. Also, resistance to the upside. Daily chart is sitting in this range as well. This one is also in the middle of its range, so not a huge fan. We are still creating these higher lows on the higher time frames here. So same thing as the Dow. If you look at the hourly chart, break through these highs, you have clean range to the upside. This range isn't as big as the Dow, so I probably will just trade the Dow today. As far as sells, so yeah, Dow will be the longs. Sells, you have very clean range to the downside on the S&P. If we can break through these lows of 41.28, just super clean price action from that NFP move on Friday. So the Dow and S&P both have decent ranges, so I'll just see whichever one sets up better if the sells do come in play. NASDAQ is actually pushing out of its range. So we had broken through the range 2 weeks ago, came back below to retest this 50% area of the range, and now we're pushing higher. So with this nice bullish engulfing on Friday from NFP, and if you remember, I talk about this often as far as, okay, you know, trading. Where's this wick? The wick. Trading the ranges. Once you get a breakout, you'll either retest and go. There's three things that'll happen. You'll retest the resistance, the breakout, and go. You'll retest the 50% mark and go. Or this will be a fake out and we come back below and continue lower. In this case, looking like it's retesting the 50% mark because the 50% is right here. Came back down to retest it. Nice bullish engulfing on Friday. So looking for a continuation on the NASDAQ. Very, very clean range. Looking left back up towards 13,006. We have resistance, 13,286. So we break through. Could have a nice rally. So I'm not going to buy it here, but if we can break through and retest this way, then it'll be a very nice long continuation from Friday's move. Not selling the NAS. NAS is too strong to sell, so I'll either take US30 or NAS buys, or US 100 and Dow sells. So we'll see what comes into play. Looking at gold. Gold's weekly chart running into a lot of resistance up here. Last week closed pretty weak. We had a nice rejection wick, closed pretty weak, bullish candlestick. Daily chart. Nice bearish close on Friday from NFP. After we had broken through these highs, grabbed some liquidity, closed bearish below. Now we're going for a potential retest and a push to the downside. I am keeping an eye on these higher lows overall for gold, so I'd expect maybe we get a retest of that. Something similar to this. Ready? So if you look back in February, we had broken through these highs, nice bearish close, and a pullback to that trend line. We also gave in a little bit of divergence here as well. Currently, broke through the highs, nice bearish engulfing back below, and giving a little bit of divergence here as well. And so now I'm looking for a retest back to the trend line. We also dipped a little bit through the EMA here. Ran will also be dipping through a little EMA here to run. So this is very, very similar price action to what we got back in February. And I don't want to buy, at these all-time highs. That's not one area where I would like to buy because it's a lot of resistance just ahead. So, looking at the hourly chart, I would like to see a retest. So we're just sitting here grinding higher, right? We're just grinding higher for then a potential puke down to 2,000 is what I'm anticipating. So there's a couple things you can look for. You can either look for a retest of this area of broken support, or we're sitting at an area right now of prior resistance. Prior resistance back in April. Some hesitation back in beginning of May. Or I guess 3 days ago. And then right now, seeing almost like a double top there. If you go to the 1 hour chart, also sitting right below the potential EMA here. So this is the first area of resistance we're going to keep an eye on. Second area is going to be 2032. And so I will just look for a break of structure and then sells, right? So I will look for a break through these lows here. I want to see us get back below the lower time frame EMA and the VWAP because we're still sitting with these higher lows. We're still sitting on top of the EMA and VWAP. So if we can get below, break this structure and get below VWAP in the EMA and backside retest it, then I'll look for some sells. And that's the only way I'll get some sells on gold today, because it's obviously a bullish chart, so I'm not going to jump into sells. But if I can get a break through these lows, then we'll look for that. Oil, I'm actually very intrigued with oil's price action. So if you look at the weekly chart, this 69, this 70 area, prior area of support and resistance. Daily chart as well. If you look currently, now creating these higher lows, retested this liquidity grab to continue higher. I talked about this before, where this whole zone here, we have a bullish candlestick and a rally, a bullish rally, right? Bullish rally, bullish rally, bullish rally, bullish, and now I want to see if we can get that continued rally as well. This area trades very similar. It's like mirroring price action. So if you look at the 4-hour chart, we have these descending highs, this trend line here. We have every retest is coming at the EMA, at this trend line here. So I'm not going to, I probably won't get any buys today, but I'm not going to look for buys until we can break through the trend line, break through the EMA, backside retest it, and then rally. I want to see an actual shift in momentum, a shift in structure before I take these longs. So can we take some oil sells today? Potentially. I'm not going to avoid taking these sells because I want to anticipate longs. We are clearly in bearish market structure with these lower highs here. So if you look at it, yeah, it's above the EMA, pushing up pretty strong, but every time we've retested this trend line here, it's above the EMA, pushing pretty strong. It's above the EMA, pushing pretty strong. So what I'm going to do is wait for a break of structure, meaning I'm going to wait for that retest, break some kind of structure, and then, look for the sells. Similar to here, we had this break of these lows, consolidation, then sells. So I'm going to look for something like that. If I am going to get the sells, I'll look for price action to, wow, that's been really strong. Come up here, consolidate a little bit, and then, break that structure and sell. Very clean range, that is. But again, I want to see eventual long, so we'll see. Pound yen, weekly chart running into some resistance. However, we did have this nice wick rejection of this breakout of 169, so I'd like to see a potential continuation to the upside from here. Daily chart broke through this resistance, came back to retest, bullish engulfing, finding some nice support here, so looking for that continuation to the upside. However, this is not something I'm going to take a long one today, just because we have 0 lower wick on the daily chart. When we have no lower wick, that means no liquidity was ran to the downside. So I'm going to either take sells today if they present themselves at this resistance, or I'll just wait until tomorrow to buy, potentially. 4-hour chart, we are running into some resistance here at this 171. 1-hour chart as well, running into that resistance, running into this quarter point here. Showing a little bit of divergence. So I wouldn't be against sells in this area. I would just want to see structure forming to support that bias. Just because we didn't get that, we didn't even get a weekly lower wick. Last time we didn't get a weekly wick is, and let me see if there was a last time. I mean, it's just, I don't know. The point is, because I'm not sure I'll be able to find one. The point is, here's one, but we've been extremely bullish, right? So the point is it rarely happens. Very, very, very rarely does it happen. I mean, it happens, and if it does, it's fine. I'll just miss it. But I think that we have some liquidity to be ran down still before we continue higher. So I'm going to look for some sells with pound yen in this area here. And the open of the week is right here. So look for a potential run of those lows. USD JPY is pretty intriguing as well. If you look at the daily chart, we broke through these highs, closed below or closed above it, and then came back below to retest. We're creating these higher lows. We've had this nice bullish engulfing right at this area of support and resistance, right above the EMA. Very clean price action looking left, so I'm liking buys on USD JPY here. So going to wait for structure to form. I'm not sure I like it right now where it's at. Forming a little bit of an inverted head and shoulder, or I guess not inverted, a little bit of an actual head and shoulders here. But we'll see where it goes. So right, if it breaks through this high here and it does start continuing this bullish structure, then I'll look for some retest for some buys. I wanted to see it come back a little lower before I had the buys, but I might not get that. So if I can get a run through these highs, run through this resistance area here, then I will look for some buys for a nice move to the upside. New Zealand CAD's looking pretty interesting as well. Look at the daily chart. Daily chart just rejected these lower highs here. Nice bearish engulfing from Friday. Sitting in this channel. So looking for a potential continuation of the downside to play this range. 4-hour chart. Had a nice run through highs, came back below, looking for a retest for a push to the downside. This break of structure right here is where I'm looking for that sell. 2-hour chart. Entering this area here. So this is going to be the first area of resistance, or my first sell point. If it breaks through here, second sell point, it's going to be up to retest this break here. Also retesting the trend line again. So if I can get price action to start flipping over here, break these lows, get back below EMA, VWAP, then I'll look for a retest and sell. If it starts pushing higher through this zone, then I'll look for bearish formation up in this area. It's very, very, very important to be patient and wait for that shift in structure, because you'll avoid a loss potentially. You won't be sitting in the trade for a very long time, and you'll be playing with momentum. So for all of these trades, it's important to wait for a shift in momentum. Euro GBP looks decent. So we've had a strong area of support and resistance sitting here at like 87,500-ish. You can see a lot of peaks and troughs here. We've been creating these descending highs, and we're now breaking below this area of support. Daily candle from Friday closed below, and today we have this wick to retest, and now we're pushing lower. We have very, very clean range to the left. So I think we can have a potential very strong sell-off with Euro GBP. Looking at the hourly chart, we had a nice rejection of this breaks the downside. We had a nice rejection of the EMA here. Yeah, so sells actually look very decent. I potentially would have even liked to take a sell after this bearish engulfing, right? The idea would be sell here, stop above that high, take profit would be, who knows. I mean, you have range to fill, right? So, I mean, but I don't know where I would, somewhere down there. But anyways, I'm not in it. So what I'm going to wait for now is just another break of structure, bearish engulfing type of deal. Maybe wait for like a another 30-minute move or a 15-minute move. The open, I like to get it on the sell on the opens right here. So I'd like to get it below the open to confirm bearish movement here. So maybe you can get a break to the lows, retest bearish engulfing, then I'll take the sells here. But we'll see. Keep an eye on that. AUD CAD's just forming potentially. I'm not going to take it yet, but we do have these lows that we've been creating, as you can see, support prior. We broke through this trend line here, gave us a retest. So potential bullish engulfing today. If AUD CAD can get a bullish engulfing and break through these highs, then I think we have a nice rally to the upside. Again, I just flagged this as a potential setup in the coming days or weeks. I don't know how long it's going to set up, but this is forming pretty decently, as AUD has been very strong across the board. Like you look at AUD USD, AUD JPY is breaking out. So yeah, just GBP AUD starting to roll over because AUD is strong. So it's gonna be tough. That one will be tough. That's why I'm waiting for it to form, because oil could potentially be bullish, and that's not good for AUD CAD. So that one's just a waiting game to see, which one takes over, right? But that's everything I'm looking at today. So it should be a pretty clean week. Should get some nice moves. I don't think the market's going to wait for CPI to move, so we should start getting some decent moves early this week. Yeah. I'm going to hop off now and go trade. So have a lovely rest of your day, everybody. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Peace.